everyone, my name is Lexie. If you're new here, welcome. If you are not new, welcome back, guys. So today I'm going to be talking about just my back journey, kind of what I went through. I'm going to just talk about kind of my symptoms, what my first diagnosis was, and then figuring out what it was, what we did for treatment, and then at the end I'll talk about the surgery and how that went. So, I know this video is going to be really long. I'll put timestamps down below, like where things are at, in case you only want to hear about my surgery or, all of that. So, first we're just going to start talking about kind of what happened. So, in the beginning, about end of May, I started to experience pain in my left hamstring area. And so I just thought it was a hamstring pull. I was playing soccer. It's a very common injury in soccer. I looked it up. It said it'd take a couple weeks to heal. So I was like, that's fine. I'll just keep playing. If it's not really that irritating. As an athlete, you just kind of get over it. So I waited a couple weeks. It was still there and it was getting worse. So my mom made a doctor's appointment with my family doctor. And we went and saw him, and he's like, yeah, most likely it is a hamstring injury, nothing to worry about at this time. I think I had like 2 soccer games left. So he was like, just play your games, and then, rest after that. So that's what I did, and it got worse. So my mom ended up taking me, or actually I think it was my dad, took me to the clinic uptown, and they said, yeah, it's probably a hamstring injury. But she could tell I was in a lot of pain, and so she gave me some Tylenol 3 just to kind of help me heal and taking it easy, but making sure you're stretching and walking and things like that. And it only got worse. So at this point I was hunched over, Hunchback of Notre Dame is what everyone called me. I'll put a little picture of if I have a video of how I was walking, I will also insert that right here. It was really bad. I was in so much pain. Literally after school I would just come home and lay on my bed and cry. I could not do anything. Like my friends, we liked to go to the trampoline park and just hang out, and I drive, and it was so hard for me to drive because I had to lean like this to drive, and it was just a really big pain in my booty. So it was just a really rough time. I was like, why is it not getting better, So one night it just got so bad, my mom had rushed me to urgent care, and the lovely urgent care doctor told me to take 24 ibuprofen and Tylenol flip through, and altogether in the end would be 24 of them a day. 24. Yeah, I think she needs to lose her license, but that's another point in the story. So my mom was like, what the freak, And again, I was just in so much pain, and the doctor was like, maybe go to a chiropractor. So I went to a chiropractor, and when I tell you I was in the worst pain of my life, I'm not even kidding. I went to the chiropractor, and he, cracked me. And he told me to go home, lay on the floor with an ice pack to my back. So that's exactly what I did, and I could not get up. I literally was on the floor for 3 hours just in screaming, agonizing pain. It felt like my body was on fire, but I was also getting stabbed or shot at. It was so bad, literally so bad. That was the most pain I had been in this whole 6-month journey of my back injury, and yeah, it was really, really bad. My brother was home at the time, and he literally called the chiropractor and was like, what the hell did you do to my sister? Him and my mom literally had to physically, pick me up from the floor because I could not get up. So my mom was like, this just isn't right. So she sent me to another doctor, and we did, and at this time, no one had done any x-rays, MRIs, nothing. And he did an x-ray to make sure I didn't have any cancer, or anything abnormal like that, and he's like, you might have just a pinched nerve. So he told me to go to some physical therapy, just take it easy, do some stretches. So that's what I did, and when I went to physical therapy, I could not do any of the exercises. That's how much pain I was in. I was supposed to get on all fours and just kind of go raise my back up and down, and I could not do that. I was in so much pain. So at this time, this is probably about end of June, mid-July, after I'd went to all 4 of these doctors. So it had been about 2-3 months at this point that I literally could not do anything. I couldn't walk. I was in so much pain. All my mental health was like down the drain. If you ever experienced like a really bad injury or gone through like any sort of like illness or something, like, you know that it takes a really big toll on your mental health, especially when I was more active, you know. I was playing soccer and going to trampoline parks, you know, and like I couldn't play volleyball this year because I was in like such bad shape. So my aunt works at a hospital in Kansas City. I live in Iowa. And she was like, this isn't right. And I go and babysit my nephews in the summer for normally like a week. And she's like, I'm going to make an appointment when you come down here and we're going to go see my doctor. So she showed a video of me walking to a pediatric doctor, and he was like, what the freak? No one had ordered an MRI or anything. Like, he was like so surprised. Like, no doctor had tried to get me an MRI or anything, because he's like, that's not right, and that is definitely not her hamstring. So they ordered me an MRI. So when I went down to Kansas City, I got into an MRI, and then the next day I had an appointment where I figured out what the freak was wrong with me. So the MRI was not bad at all. I was kind of like nervous about it. I was like, ooh, you know, being in a tube, but it was actually really pleasant. I just like listened to music and chilled. So my mom had actually drove down to come to my appointment to, you know, see what was wrong with me, because at this point, no doctor had been any help. I'm sorry, it kind of fell. So anyway, as I was saying, so I had 3 on the verge of 4 herniated discs, as well as 2 alured tears and degenerative disc disease. So pretty much what that means is 3 of the discs in my back were like, they're supposed to be like kind of like this, and or maybe more like this, and mine was like woo, hitting the nerve in my back, and then I had tears in them as well. And then degenerative disc disease is lack of fluid in the disc. So my discs do not have a lot of cushion, which is normal. Like, it happens in everyone. It's normal with aging, but mine was very premature, so that's why I have a disease. So anywho, so I found that out, and when I tell you, I was so relieved that I have not been crazy this whole time, and that there was something like actually wrong, was very, very like good to figure out. And I just felt kind of like a weight lifted off my shoulder, like, okay, this is like the final stretch. Out July 12th is when we finally figured out what was wrong with me, and when I was first injured, it was like the middle of May, so about 2 months in. And the doctor, he's so lovely, he was like, girl, like, that's impressive, because I'm only 17. Like, I'm a child. Like, normally, like, if you're not, like, I had no traumatic, like, injury or anything, like, nothing. He was like, that's, like, very, very rare to have someone so young your age not, like, have a traumatic injury and still have so much damage to their back. So he was like, because of your age, we do not want to, like, we want to delay surgery as late as possible. Sorry, I can't talk. We wanted to delay surgery as late as possible, because it can, like, if you know, like, over time you're going to get a lot of scar tissue, and it could cause, you know, problems in the future. So the day I had my appointment, which was July 12th, he also got me in for an epidural cortisone shot. So now we're going to kind of get into my treatment, I guess. So he was like I was in so much pain. Like, he came in to, like, look at my back, and I literally could not stand for more than, like, 3 seconds, and I was on, like, the, like, what do they call that, like, the bed, you know, like, little patient bed, and I literally was sitting like this, just, like, talking to him, because I could not sit straight at all. And he's like, so we're gonna get you into a shot to see if that helps, because really there's only 3 options at this point, is to either just live with it, which obviously I could not live with it. I could not walk or anything, and I was in so much pain. Get the shots or do surgery. So the thing about the shots is you can only get 4 in a year, and if one doesn't work, then most likely none of them are gonna work. So my first shot, I went back, and I'll insert a picture if I can find it, like an epidural. It's like this long, and it's going into my back. So I go to, like, the pain center, and everyone there is lovely, and I go into the back, and, like, the the doctor who does the, like, I think he's an anesthesiologist, but he also does, like, the pain stuff. He was super sweet, and he's like, you know, I'm going to try and fix you, you know, you should not be dealing with this. So I go back, and they put me on a bed, and I lay on my stomach, and they're all just talking to me like it's completely normal. They have this, like, big machine that, like, shows you kind of where the, like, little thing is at. I don't really know. And I was so scared. My blood pressure was, like, out of, we don't even know where she's at, because, like, that's how nervous I was. And it does hurt. It's not necessarily that it hurts, it's just super, super uncomfortable. So, like, the, like, numbing, I think it's the numbing shot, that's what actually hurts. But, like, he's like, oh, it's like a bee sting. I'm like, no, that's not a bee sting. That's, like, stabbed by a butcher knife. Maybe that's a little dramatic, but it's not. It's more than a bee sting. And then the epidural itself, you can just feel it. Just thinking about it makes me feel sick. You can just feel it going in, and, like, they kind of, like, push on it until I think it's, like, just, like, spread the medicine. It just makes my stomach, like, so queasy and just kind of uncomfortable. Yeah, it's just uncomfortable. That's it. It's really uncomfortable. So I scheduled another epidural shot. So this one, the first one, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. The first one did help. Like, I went from being straight, but I was still in a lot of pain, but I was more comfortable. I could finally, like, stand straight. And at this point, yeah, it's been like 2.5 months that I have been hunched over. So he's like, come back, you know, and we'll do another one. So I got my second shot August 2nd, so a couple weeks afterwards. And this shot did nothing. It didn't make it any better, and I was just kind of where I was from the first shot, like, no improvement from the first shot at all. And the doctor, he was like, just, because normally they say, you know, if one doesn't work, just, that's it, there's nothing else you can do, but he was really adamant about me coming back, and I think it's just mainly because my age. They really just did not want me to get surgery. He was like, just come back for one more, you know, and I'll see what I can do. And I think the third one, he, like, upped the dosage or something. I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure he, like, kind of changed it up so that, just to see if it would work. So I got my last shot October 4th, and when I say I went downhill after this shot, like, here was me, I was like, oh yeah, like, I'm, like, decent, I'm still in a lot of pain, but, like, I can stand straight, so that's, like, pretty good to, like, straight down. And I was exactly where I was in the beginning, hunched over, in a lot of pain, could not do anything. She decided she wanted to wait just to make sure that maybe it would just get better on its own. Again, everyone just wanted me to avoid surgery due to my age, like I've said. And so she just kind of waited, and it got really bad again. All I was doing is laying in bed crying. I didn't really want to hang out with anyone because I literally couldn't do anything. Like, I just sat in my bed and watched YouTube. So yeah, it was bad. Your girl was depressed, so it really takes a toll on your mental health. And so they scheduled my surgery for, like, December 12th, I think it was, and remember my last shot was October 4th, so that's, like, a lot of time for a lot of things to get bad again, and they did get bad. And so my mom, like, called the doctor. This is probably around Thanksgiving. I started getting really, really bad again, like, really, really bad, like, really bad. I was in so much pain. Like, I cannot even tell you, like, how much pain I was in. Like, if I could describe, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just so bad. Called the doctor and was like, is there any way we can, like, get this surgery moved up? Like, she's not doing good. And there was no openings. This doctor is very full, very hard to get into. So I was just, like, chugging along. I was like, keep going, girl, you're almost there. And so I did that, you know, and I was like, oh, pray for me, because your girl's about to die. So my surgery was supposed to be December 12th, but as the last, like, a week and a half before December 12th, I was in a wheelchair. I could not walk at all. that's how bad it got, to where the point where I could not even walk. If I even walked like the 10 steps from my bed to my bathroom, like I was in so much pain, like I could not even do that. I would literally like be dead for 3 days if I even walked that short of a distance. So my mom had got me a wheelchair, and my lovely friends Micah and Cassidy with me around. Love you guys, you're the best. And so she was like telling his nurse, like, she's doing really, really bad. Like, she's in a wheelchair, she can't do anything. Is there any way we could get it moved up? So on December 7th, your girl underwent a discectomy on my L5S1 and L4L5. I think that's right. That sounds right. They only did the 2, not the 3, because they're pretty sure that the 3rd one was not causing any pain to me, and they didn't want to do anything more to me that did not need to be done. And when I tell you that this surgery is literally a miracle worker, it's a miracle worker. As soon as I woke up, I was ready to run a marathon. So, the day of my surgery, I go in, and it was like 6 a.m. I had to be there. And I was nervous, but like I wasn't like that nervous until they told us like you're gonna go back in like 5 minutes, like say your goodbye to your family. That's when I got really nervous and I started crying. And so they had to give me like, they call them margaritas, but like probably like an anti-anxiety med, I'm not really sure. So they gave me that just to calm me down, and then they wheeled me back into surgery. And I do not remember anything really from after they wheeled me back. I just remember there was like 3 or 4 doctors around me, and they're like, we're just setting things up, like no worries, like nothing's happening. Like I don't remember counting back from like 10, nothing. Nothing. So when I woke up, I was in like a room for like after surgery people. I don't really know, it's like a big room, there's a bunch of people in there. And I was probably back there for like 3 hours, and I was just falling asleep, waking up, falling asleep, waking up. So after about 3 hours, they said that I could like go up to a room. They wanted to keep me overnight for at least one night. So because I'm 17, I went to the pediatric floor, and literally everyone on that floor is so sweet. I love everyone. The nurses were wonderful. I had the best nurse staff ever. Shout out to Haley and Joe. Much love. And staying in the hospital was actually pretty fun. I didn't really sleep at all, but like the food was actually pretty decent. I watched a lot of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, so that's pretty fun. Super scared to like get up and use the bathroom, and it was a piece of cake. Like the pain I was in from after surgery was nowhere near the pain I was in like prior to surgery. Like they let me use like a little clicker just to keep track of how much pain I was in. And then if it doesn't let you overdose on it, but like if you can get meds, then like it'll give you some. So I like used that maybe 10 times while I was in the hospital. Like I barely clicked it. I was doing so good. So my nurse Haley, she like helped me get up, and I went to the bathroom. Getting up was pretty painful. I mean, like, it just kind of pulls on your incision. Like, there was 0 pain in my leg, which is where all my pain was. And, you know, my back hurt a little bit, but it was mainly in my leg. Like, my leg pain was completely gone, and the only reason my back hurt was because of where the incision is, which I'm going to post pictures of my incision. I'm not really sure what the dates of these pictures are, but this one is, like, right after my surgery, a couple days. And then there's this one, which is a couple weeks after my surgery, and then I'll post like a little picture or video or whatever of what my incision looks like right now. So going to the bathroom did kind of hurt just because getting up and down, it pulls on your incision, but other than that, it was completely fine. So the next morning, the doctor came and checked on me, and he said that I was like fine to go. And they had like the physical therapist come in, you know, just to make sure I'm walking good and showing me, you know, how to walk properly again. And then they had like another nurse come in. I don't really know what her title is, but just to show me how to dress and put on clothes and all of that fun jazz. So once I got home, I took it easy, you know, of course. I was getting up and walking like every hour and just making sure I was getting up, because if you just lay there, it's not gonna really help. You need to start walking and stuff. So I had my like checkup appointment ago, like maybe 2 weeks ago now, maybe, actually it's almost February, so maybe like 3 weeks ago now, and I got my stitches out, and that shit hurt. That was more painful than my surgery. Like, oh, it was so bad. It was so uncomfortable. I literally, I was dying. Your girl was sweating. I was like, oh, and like, I thought I was gonna cry. I did not cry, but I was close. It was bad. But the doctor said I was doing great. He wants me to start physical therapy, but he wanted me to wait, a couple more weeks just to make sure that I was like fully healed, I guess, in a way, and just make sure I was good to go. So I have my first physical therapy appointment in February 5th. So I can't really say like what that has in store for me, but I'm very hopeful that I can play soccer again this year. So I know that was a very long video. I tried to go as fast as I could, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, comment information down below if I think of anything else. I just want to say thank you to my Aunt Stacy, because without her, I would honestly probably not be where I am right now. I'd probably not be doing as well, and I'd honestly probably be in a hell of a lot of pain still. So I want to say thank you to her, and I also want to say thank you to the University of Kansas staff. Everyone there was so wonderful, from my surgeon to my nurses. You guys were amazing, so thank you guys for helping me out. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or whatever, comment down below, and I'll see you later maybe. Bye!